You're now listening to the Chewing Grounds podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 38. I have a very special guest today, but before I introduce him, I want to talk about his brand. So, if you guys didn't know me, I love coffee. I'm an addict, honestly. I drink it almost every single day, if not double a day. Well, no, I feel like I drink one a day. That's like good, like a vitamin. But if you guys want to talk about something that slaps harder than Will Smith, we got Clutch Coffee. Oh my God, dude, guys, if you guys know me and you guys know my personal channel, especially, I flex this all the time because I've been, and I've talked about this on the early podcast. I'm not a fan of Starbucks. I only like one drink of theirs, and that's the ice shake and espresso. Other than that, everything else is pretty buns, dude. And when Clutch came to town and Darren was my guest today, hit me up, I was so ecstatic. I tried practically their whole menu, and Lauren, me, Michelle, everybody on the team, we all love Clutch Coffee. So today we have one of the co-owners, right?
Yep.
Co-founder, yep. Yeah, co-founders and owner, Darren Spicer. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, you got it.
All right, cool, man. Hey, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you? I love the opening of it. Slaps harder than Will Smith. That was well played. But the difference is you can actually keep Clutch's name in your mouth. So we're good.
Oh man, no, we could do this all day. Dude, you brought my favorite drink, and I want to talk about this for a second.
Let's do it.
The caramello. Guys, if you guys like sweet desserts, man, this is perfection. How do you come up with your drinks?
That's a great question. So, I mean, I think a lot of it comes from talking with our
so good, bro. It just tastes like
you
ice
need a little
cream bar.
IV drip for it.
Yeah, literally, it's like an ice cream bar with like espresso in it.
So he gets a shake that has caramel and toasted marshmallow, and then adds 2 shots of espresso.
Dude.
A little like affogato style.
Oh my gosh,
that's his spot.
So how do you come up with these drinks?
So really, I mean, it's a lot of it is feedback from our employees, right? Because they're always trying and doing different things. They want to create something, and they put their own little spin on it. So when we actually came out with a revised menu like a year and a half ago,
yeah,
we had different items, and we said, okay, like, what are the top 3 shake flavors that you guys recommend? And we legit had them vote. And it was, we had like 80 or 90 employees at the time. They submitted things, and that one kept coming up and up. And it was like, okay, and I didn't need to try it. I was like, I believe you guys. I trust you guys. If this is something you think is going to be, and it's cool. So then they're bought into, like, we help to design the menu. We help bring in some different drinks. And so, yeah, so that's how the Caramello shake was born.
Yeah. And we met like a year ago, right?
Yeah, at the Greensboro, like right before the Greensboro opening. We opened January 31st of 2021. So we're like a little over a year old now. So. And
you reached out to me, which was wonderful, because like I couldn't find a better brand to really like represent, help out with, and like I advocate Clutch all the time. Like if it's in the yeah, I'll just do, and I don't do that with a lot of brands, like for free especially. And whenever we're traveling, especially on the road, like we're going to Charlotte or something, we always stop by Clutch because it's on the way anyways. And you always hook me up, and then like there's always good drinks. I want to talk about something before we dive deep specifically into the brand.
Yep.
I noticed something about all of your clutches, and to be frank, I've only been to 3. I've been to Clemens, Winston, and Greensboro. Greensboro being my main one.
The trifecta.
Yeah. You guys hire really well. Every single employee that I've experienced so far today has been really nice. How are you guys finding these people, getting these people? How are you able to find, like, what makes a business able to hire such friendly people and outgoing specifically?
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's a combination of trying to find people who have the right intangibles, right? Like, they don't have to know how to make coffee. It's can you be coachable? Do you have positive energy, and do you really want to have like a servant leader mentality, and you want to actually like provide people with great customer service? So having some of those intangibles is really important. Being outgoing, we can help to craft and coach them on some of the things that make Clutch. But I think the other part of it is just really trying to protect the culture, and we build a culture, and it's like the hardest but most valuable thing to build and then keep. So really it's looking for the right individuals, and then keeping it tight in the sense of if they don't fit that, or if somebody joins us and doesn't fit the mold, like we have a phrase where we promote them to customer, and it just doesn't, you've got to be able to make some of those tough decisions sometimes.
Of course.
And a lot of times it's like talented people where it's like, man, they could run circles around other people, but their attitude sucks, or they're just not treating their coworkers well. And all those things matter, right? And so if you don't protect that, essentially what you're doing is you're telling the other 25 employees that like, it's okay, this behavior is okay, and then it can spawn. So you kind of just have to be really mindful of protecting it. And it is not a destination, it is a constant journey.
Yeah, no, I get that. Businesses are like that, and it's good that you look at it like that as a business owner because you're looking long term. You're not even looking short term only. Now let's actually dive into Clutch Coffee because my podcast fans might not know you, as opposed to my my main channel. They do know you because I've blasted you all over. But I know. Okay, so Clutch Coffee started in March 2018.
Yep.
And it was started originally, ideally, 2004. You worked at Gotta Have a Java, right?
Yeah. Wow, man, I forgot you even knew that. See, this guy does.
To be
his
honest,
homework.
I watched the podcast about you. I read up about you. I do that about my guests. All right, so tell me the whole story, man. Tell the fans.
So let's see. I was a senior in high school. Okay, this is a good story. Senior in high school, and I'm working at a local grocery store. So in Oregon, it's called Fred Meyer. It's like Publix, and working at the grocery store, and like I'm pushing carts, I'm bagging groceries. It's like the summer. It's hot as shit. I don't know if we can swear on this podcast.
Yeah, you can, bro.
Okay.
I swear all the time. Fuck.
And
right. Keep your wife's mouth out my fucking mouth.
he said, and that's the greatest night in television history.
Yeah, for real.
And so like I'm pushing carts and bagging groceries, and it's hot and it's like not fun. Like I even sneak back in like the dairy cooler to like cool off and like not fun.
Right.
And I'd have to walk by this little coffee kiosk, and there's like these beautiful girls that are working there, and their tip jar is just overflowing, and I'm like, I am in the wrong line of business as an 18-year-old. So I just inquired and asked, and they're like, oh yeah, just go down and talk to Mike and Shell, and like they'll interview you. And that opened the door. I ended up getting a job there.
It was just like a local coffee store?
Yeah, they had like five locations, and they were like smaller huts. Like they weren't like as big as the buildings you see now. And so that, I mean, instantly working there, I started making double what I was making before, and the job was way more fun, and I was working with like cute girls. I was like, this is amazing.
Keep going.
So I got into that, and then as I got into that, and then I ended up working at another concept called Dutch Bros, and I worked there off and on for almost 8 or 9 years, and that was a great experience. I learned a ton, grew, ended up leaving there as a manager of a location, so got a lot of reps under my belt that way.
Shout out to those girls.
Yes.
That's the reason why you got into this.
Yes. Yeah. Like if they ever hear this, like a bunch of them are like my older sisters. Like they kind of they protect me and kept like crazy girls away from me. So, but no, like that's what I kind of got into it. And then the biggest passion was like, it was for people. Right. And it's like, we serve coffee or other beverages, but really like you're building relationships and you get to know people. They become like the Monday through Friday regulars, and they're looking forward to seeing you the next day. You kind of become their own personal therapist to a degree, where like they'll vent to you for a minute about whatever it is going on in their life, and you're able to kind of, bring a little bit of positive energy to their day. So that always stuck with me. And then after I graduated college, got a big boy job.
Oregon.
Yep. Go Ducks. I worked in the NBA, and like, I did well, but I didn't love it. And
what was it in?
I worked for the Sacramento Kings, and I was selling season tickets.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I did that, and that was the goal, was like, okay, if I can't play in the NBA, I want to work in it. And I got there. Yeah, I'm white. I can't jump.
Yeah, but you're tall though, at least.
That's true. That's true. And I got into it, and it was like, I did well, but it wasn't fulfilling. I was working long days. I made less money than I did as a barista in college. I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
As a ticket sales?
2008, I made $10 an hour plus commission.
Dude, Sacramento, what are you guys doing down there?
Dude, it was,
and it's high cost of living in California.
Yeah, that was not the most enjoyable setup. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather do something else that allows me to make more, where I could go buy my own tickets or go to a game recreationally as a fan.
Right.
So I kind of pulled out of that. I got into outside sales with a seafood company for a year and a half, did well. Then that parlayed into medical device career, doing medical device sales. And while I was doing med device full time, I had this itch to scratch of like wanting to go back and franchise with the most recent one I had worked with Dutch Bros. And so 40 hours a week med device, 35 hours a week on top of that, managing.
Okay, Elon Musk.
Managing a drive-through coffee location, a new one in California. I did that for 9 months. And you had to manage for 12 months to be eligible to franchise. So 9 months into this 12-month program, the model changed, and the franchising was no longer an option.
What?
Which
That's
is
weird.
I mean, I understand it. Like, and it was, I can only be thankful for it because it pushed
God's
me
plan.
to where I'm here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
Nice Drizzy reference.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so 9 months into that, it changed, and it was like, okay, well, I need to reassess like what's best for me, and that kind of pushed me to say, hey, like I really want to start my own brand. I learned a ton there, and I would say there's a lot of things that they did really well. There were some things that I thought could be improved upon.
Yeah.
And we could actually make our own brand. So. So that's what kind of pushed me to do that. That was in 2015, I think.
How much risk did you take with?
I'll put it this way. I took an 80% pay cut because when I left Med Device, I resigned as the national director of sales. And
was it mostly your money invested into the business, or like you and your partner?
I have two other co-founders. Yeah. Okay. So we all put in 6 figures into doing it, and to collectively start. And so like put a good amount. Yeah. And then on top of that, like going from making in the mid twos to make like 50K as a startup to like preserve. That was, that's when you're all in, right?
Yeah,
like that's
you kind of have to be.
That's the commitment.
Yeah.
But it opened, I mean, like that was March of 2018 is when we got open, and I made the transition full time to that shortly thereafter. And that we opened 2 in Mooresville, and I mean that's what kind of got us on the map. And now we're 4 years later. We'll open up store number 7 in a couple months. We should be at 10 by the end of the year, and the goal is to get to 100. Man. So
let's talk about these locations. So you have 6 right now, and the 7th one coming soon, correct? Mm-hmm. And there are all of them that are open right now are in North Carolina, except for one that's in Florida.
Yep.
Correct. Okay. What are the ones in North Carolina, just so people know?
So we got 2 in Mooresville. They're about 3 miles apart, so 30 miles north of Charlotte. And then we have Clemens, Winston-Salem, and Greensboro.
Okay, so why North Carolina first?
So we targeted Charlotte and Nashville initially as younger, growing demographics where the cities were exploding with growth, and we felt it was really underserved from a drive-through coffee standpoint, right? You got Starbucks and Dunkin', but there's not really a lot of other stuff out there. And the West Coast, especially like the Northwest, where I'm from, super saturated. It's getting more saturated into California, but the East Coast is just untapped.
But you live in California, or you're based out of, right?
I am now, yeah. So for the first, for the
fuck, bro?
For the first, yeah, my wife says that too. I told her it's a long game. So the first year and a half, I actually was out in North Carolina 21 days a month. And I had rented a house out here with one of the other co-founders. And so I'd be out here 10 or 11 days a month, and then I'd go home for 4. This is pre-kids, by the way, because that shit wouldn't fly now. No. So 10 or 11 here, 4 there. And I did that for a year and a half to build the culture, the foundation, everything under the sun. Wow. And so then now as time has gone on and we've grown, we've got some amazing layers of leaders that now run a lot of the day-to-day that allow myself and other people at the higher level to focus on like how do we continue to grow and create more opportunities. So so most of my day now is spent like on Zoom or on email, like 10 hours a day. And so I'm kind of at my battle station, right? So it's less like in the store, which I would love to be more in the store, but that's not how I'm going to best serve the 150 employees that we have.
Yeah. So wait, so my question is, are your plans for your family to pick up things and move East Coast, or are you guys going to stay there and you're going to remotely keep continuing this?
Yeah.
Is it sustainable?
Yeah, well, we're 4 years in, so like I'd say it's sustainable to the point we've gotten here. We have an incredible family support system out in California. Yeah. My wife's family. I mean, we have, her mom is there helping babysitting 2 days a week, and like things that we would be kind of on an island out here, I think. Right. So I would probably not ask them to. The real sacrifice comes from like just them knowing that like I have to spend a certain amount of time out here and traveling and going to look at new locations and all of that.
Well, I'm glad you guys picked North Carolina. North Carolina is a hidden gem, dude.
It is. It's underrated.
It's so underrated. Okay, so I want to talk to you since you mentioned drive-through. Yeah. What makes Clutch different from the average store comparative to, well, you guys eventually will get on the level of the top contenders. So we're comparing it to Tim Hortons, Dunkin' Donuts, and like Starbucks. What makes you guys different?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is it's a 180-degree different experience. Yeah. Right. So like any of those ones you just mentioned, we'll use some technical terms here. It's like when you go to order, you order what's called the squawk box, right? So you order at the speaker. It's impersonal. Maybe they have like a decent chipper attitude on there, but it's impersonal. It's not face-to-face. So you're ordering at the box, and then you pull up. Typically when you get to the window, they have someone who opens a window, says hi, takes your card, closes it, and then comes back, right? They turn their back to you. comes back with your stuff later.
True.
So for us, we completely changed that at the very beginning, where we have people, our runners, who are outside taking the drink orders face to face, and building that relationship. It also allows us to go faster. And then when you get to the window, we have someone whose sole job, like they are literally taught to not, like, I don't know if you ever played basketball, like don't turn your back to the ball. Like they're taught to focus and invest into that customer. Right. So they're not opening and closing, you actually build that relationship. And so that's number one. It's a completely different experience there. Part of the way we're set up, I think, allows us to have faster speed as well. Okay. So people can look at a line and not feel overwhelmed or be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be here for 20 minutes. It's like, nope, I know the guys at Clutch, like they move quick. So speed is another big one. Quality is massive. The roaster we use out of Washington State is an award-winning, like a national award-winning roaster. It's really good. They do our own custom blend. And having that quality, I think, is a big, we oftentimes hear other competitors taste bitter or burnt. Completely different in terms of like the quality of the espresso blend, and that matters, right? Like it is one of the most expensive on the market in the range, but but it does, like, that's not what it's about. It's about.
But your guys' prices are like actually arguably cheaper than Starbucks.
Slightly more affordable than Starbucks.
Yeah, I think so. And also on top of that, if we're comparing like head to head, we're talking coffee to coffee. Like if you're just a casual coffee drinker and you're drinking black, or you're drinking an Americano or something. Yep. I've compared it, and I've drank the Americano when I was at your guys' place for the first time. Very solid. I don't usually drink Americanos, but I was like, I wanted to try the actual taste of the coffee. Yep. It tastes really good. It's not offensive. It's very, I feel like any casual drinker can drink that. Even a really hardcore drinker, well, they'll like it. And then if you compare it to Starbucks, it tastes like ass, dude. I'm serious. So one of my fourth podcast, I had it with Lauren, my girlfriend. She was a hardcore Starbucks fan when we first met. Yep. And I did a blind taste test because I wanted to prove to her how bad Starbucks is. Yeah. And we did a full blind. She did not know anything. I compared it to McDonald's, like Dunkin'. I think it was like Krispy Kreme and something. She said it was the absolute worst. And then I told her, and it's crazy to me how people don't realize that a brand like Starbucks, you're paying for the customization and all the sugar. You're not paying for the actual coffee.
No, and the reason it, like, to get specific, the reason that it's going to taste bitter or burnt or like ass, whatever it is, because the longer you roast espresso beans, the more you can mask the imperfections in the bean. So the volume that they're doing, because they have 10,000 stores just in the US, the volume they're doing, the only way to be consistent is to just smoke it. So it's over roasted, arguably. Over roasted, and then that's where it's consistent. So basically they just kind of trained America's palate of like, well, this is what you're gonna like, and like this is gonna be acceptable, and you can mask it with milk or sugar or whatever else. So I mean, it's a big, I think it's a big opportunity for us to stand out and have a better product. And I think you touched on a cool point. Like, we hear feedback from people who get like a extra sugar, like caramel flavored mocha, all the way to like just a black Americano drinker, is like the quality of the espresso holds up in all of those forms. Yes. And that, I think, is a big difference, where it's like we can actually hang our hat on that and be like, this is a separator and a differentiator for us. Yeah,
I honestly, and this is being really, really brutally honest, not just you being in front of me, and I've told many people this, I haven't had a drink there that I disliked. It's either it's fine or it's really good. Like the caramello is like fucking amazing. Also, all your energy drinks are really good. I'm a huge fan of those. And your teas, like the Peach Perfection.
Spoiler alert, we're coming out with our own energy drink later this summer.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, because right now you're using a blend. It's like a syrup with a mix of...
Yeah, we use there's a brand we use out of Texas, and they do a great job. Like the product is awesome. Right? Or some shit? Like Blue Mania. But we want to create... That's another differentiator. What separates us is we want to be able to, I think there's a gap in the market of like focusing on a health centric aspect of this, right? Because so many different drinks can have tons of sugar, tons of fat, whatever. So how can we offer, like we innovated a product called the Muscle Mocha.
I love that.
Where my wife was like, hey, I'm tired of drinking a protein shake and my coffee every morning. Figure out how to fuse it together. Yeah. Cool. We did that. So with the energy drink, how can we create something that has low sugar, but also has some additional nutritional or health benefits that we can add to that are actually going to help, that is tied into like what Clutch is about, which is positive energy and great moods, things of that nature. So
interesting. Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited. I'll have to try that whenever it comes out.
I'll let you be, you'll be in the when we ship the samples to Greensboro. Come be part of that sample.
I'll put it all over my Instagram,
taste
dude.
tester. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. I want to talk to you about, I got a few more things about the business and I want to talk about personal after, but, pertaining to the business life and everything with, Clutch.
Yep.
Expansion plans for the year and the future. You said that you want to get to 10 locations by the end of the year. Now, what are you thinking long term? I'm thinking like 5 years down the road. Are we thinking like Starbucks level, or where are we going?
5 years, we should be at 200.
Oh, wow.
And it's gonna start to escalate like this. We've got a really cool preferred developer who basically we pass sites on real estate and they go buy the land and build the building. So these are all going to be new buildings too. Like almost all of them are going to be new buildings.
Wow.
Really, really cool aesthetic to it. Very modern.
Are you ever going to niche in a sense of like location, like In-N-Out, for instance, how they stay West Coast, or are you going to eventually tap everywhere?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think right now we have a pretty strong focus in the Southeast. So like the Carolinas, we're in Florida already. I think naturally, it makes sense of getting, and then, Georgia, Alabama kind of help to fill in down there. But there's just a ton of opportunity there. So I think we're going to stay in that region. But for sure, as we kind of ramp up here, it's like 10 by the end of this year. We need to double in size next year, and then you start to open multiple units a month, and it gets real.
You guys would do great inside and outside of Atlanta. I feel like that would be a great location, because I'm remembering I go to Atlanta pretty frequently. Like that's like New York, Atlanta, and California I go the most. And I can't name a single coffee brand.
I got a couple
like
buddies that one's been there for like 10 years and one that just moved there last summer, and he's like, and he moved from Portland where coffee's everywhere, and he's like, dude, he's like, you guys would smash it here, like it's wide open, so it's on the radar.
That's what she said. But so with Portland, why is Portland so hard to tap in? Is it just because there's so much coffee there? Have you been there?
Yeah. I grew up in Oregon. I mean, Portland's an amazing city. It's gotten a little interesting over the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
With
Antifa.
and transient population is like out of control.
Yeah.
But
so what's going on with the coffee culture there? Why is Seattle, Portland, that whole area like the top?
It's kind of the epicenter of like coffee in the U.S. and how it kind of started. And I think part of that is tied to so the weather in the Northwest oftentimes is like overcast or gloomy or rainy, and so it's kind of this natural you're gonna get at least 15, 20 years ago, you're gonna get a warm coffee, and it's kind of more of a cultural thing there.
Okay, that makes sense.
But although now we sell more iced coffee than we do hot drinks.
Dude, iced coffee's the best, dude. I honestly I drink hot coffee whenever I'm here because I have the Keurig, but other than that, would you guys ever do that? Actual
K-cups?
Something where you can tap into stores.
Yeah. So right now we have on our website on clutchcoffeebar.com we have
the roast
12-ounce bags, and that can be ground or whole bean, but eventually it'll make sense when we have enough brand presence in a market to try to tap into Publix and get that on the shelf there. And it's a highly competitive space, right? There's a ton. I mean, there's a ton of different coffee brands. Not that they're great, but they're there. So
which is why I'm shocked that you guys had such immense success in such a short time, because coffee, and my sister is in the restaurant industry now because she's opening one. We know about the different targets, whether it's bubble tea, coffee, and all that stuff. Coffee is one of the hardest because it's been there for so long. There's so many freaking brands everywhere, and then there's also the not the monopolies, but the giants, which is Starbucks and stuff, which is awesome that you guys are doing so great. And I see that you guys, and I've invested into Clutch fully. I'm dude, Clutch is going to be the future. I've told everybody about this. Now, speaking of investing in future, do you think Clutch will ever go public long term? Would you ever be open to that idea? Even? Yeah,
never say never to anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a lot of different pathways, right? I think going public could be one.
Because I know Starbucks is. I don't know if is Dunkin public.
Yeah. Okay, we've had other. I even had a phone conversation earlier today with somebody who started a 2,000 store chain, not coffee, a different concept, and is worth a couple billion. Who is also very heavily focused on the coffee sector, and so I think in the future there's a lot of different things. Could we go public? Possibly. Could another brand try to scoop us up? Possibly. Do we end up scooping up someone else ourselves? That's possible too. So
do you fear that with the public or even the scooping up of brands and stuff, you lose the control of the brand?
always a risk for
Yeah,
sure.
'cause
I think
that's what I would fear.
Yeah, well, and I think that's also why we haven't done franchising to this point.
Yeah.
Like while franchising can be profitable or lucrative, like you lose control over some of the brand, and people look at it as like, I'm just going to park money here, and I expect, like if I have 10 McDonald's, like I expect there's going to be a certain revenue, but like, are you really putting the sweat equity into it to build the culture, to build the brand? So I have a laundry list of emails of people who have like, how can I franchise? What does it cost? I'm willing to do this. Like, and we've just had to, say, hey, like we've steered them towards like, if you're interested in investing in Clutch, great, we can talk about that. But we've kept it all corporate owned because we want to control, to your point, we want to control the brand.
Man, that's genius though. I like that because I'm a control freak. I could never, no, seriously, like I don't know if I could
it's your baby. Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like you don't want someone to come in and wreck that. And you take so much time and effort to build it.
Yeah. If anyone's going to wreck, it's going to be you,
Yeah. Right. Bowl in a China shop. No, but does someone come in and just not put the right attention into it, and then it dilutes the brand, and someone's like, oh yeah, these stores over here are cool, but like the ones over here are shitty because, for whatever, like it's harder to unwind that and fix that. You get one chance to make a first impression on customers.
Fact.
And so if you don't do that, what are they going to do? They're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to go back to what I'm comfortable with, what I know as a known entity, even though it may not be great. Like I know I can trust Starbucks or Dunkin or whatever because it's, slightly above average.
Whose idea was it to do those like festive grand openings? Like because when you guys open a shop, it's like you got a DJ, you got music, you got everybody, and free drinks, bro. Like that's huge. Free drinks.
The free drinks part we learned. I'm not going to take credit for that. We learned that the going to kind of the next level and like making it a party and like with the DJ and stuff. That's something like I'm passionate about music as well. And so
I can tell.
And we had some different like some local people we knew who like DJ'd, and I'm like, hey, like let's make this into an event. Let's make it fun, right? And also when we're doing free drinks, the line is 20, 30, 40 cars deep. So how do you entertain people? You've got a captive audience. What else can you do to make it fun and do that? So that's a signature staple now. Like any store we open, like we're doing. When we did the one in South Florida,
dude, that one must have been crazy.
DJ Riri, she came up from Miami and she got after it. She just come doing she did some pro athlete's birthday the day before and then came and did Clutch.
Yeah, dude.
And it's fun. We have a good time, and like it ties into the energy that Clutch is about. So
how much different is the Clutch in Florida versus the Clutch in North Carolina? I know you guys have different menu, right?
It's slightly different. It's not crazy different. There's a couple items, like we have some Cuban coffee down there that probably wouldn't apply up here. And we had to get a real like I went grassroots and got a cultural lesson to be like, okay, if we're gonna make a cafecito, like we need to be able to make this thing. Like Cubans are gonna know. Like they're gonna be like, what is this shit? Like so we got really in the weeds with some local food bloggers and enthusiasts, and we're like, okay, this is how you make it. And so we nailed that down.
Oh fuck, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So like it's super similar in the sense of like the culture and our principles and what we stand for and how we treat people.
Yeah.
Maybe different a little bit culturally, where it's like it's a little bit more of a melting pot down there, which is cool. Which is like you bring together people who would never get in a room normally together, and now they become really good friends, and they take those relationships outside of work. And it's fun. It's fun to see that evolve. And most of our employees are at a younger, impressionable age, and like it's just cool to be able to teach them life skills as well, that like most of them are going to go somewhere beyond Clutch. They take those with them, where it's like they now know how to carry a conversation in a room, or they know how to interact with someone that's a brand new stranger, or they know how to go above and beyond.
That's huge. Me and my sister have that same model, thinking like whenever we hire someone, there are going to be specific people that will stay with you forever, but a majority of them won't. And it's not about trying to hold on to them for as long as possible. It's about teaching them what they can do with their lives and their future. And that's how you should think of it as a business owner. I have a bunch of questions about business and also your personal life, but I'm about to piss my pants. So
that's all good. That's all good.
Take a break. All right, we're back, guys. I just pissed myself. But all right, so back to real quick, business stuff. What is your if you were to write a one paragraph business for dummies little tips thing, what are some tips that you would give for anyone who's starting business, not just specifically in coffee, or you can be specific?
No, I can go broad scope here. And I actually talked about this. I did a Oregon alumni entrepreneur dinner a couple weeks ago. It's super fun. I learned a lot from everybody else that was there. So one of the things I kind of shared there was like, have a really, really detailed plan of exactly how, like, what is your goal and what is it going to take to get there, and how are you going to execute it? So have all of that very clearly mapped out. and then also be ready for all that to go to shit. So be ready for all of that to go off the rails. And then what happens at any of those intervals where if your plan doesn't happen, what are you prepared? What are you going to do as an alternative, or how are you going to regroup? And it's not always easy to come up with those answers on the front end. Sometimes you have to be in it to like figure it out, but have your plan mapped out and be ready for all of that to potentially go off the rails so that you're not surprised later. And because, you know, things never go exactly as you think they're going to. When it does, if it does, you're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Like, can more of it be like that? But be ready for unexpected things to happen, whether it's with the business, whether it's with relationships with people. All of that is dynamic and fluid, and you just have to be able to adapt and say, okay, like this is not what I thought was going to happen. So what am I going to do? How am I going to regroup? Same thing, like wanted to work in the NBA, got there and it sucked. Like, okay, so now what am I going to do? How am I going to adjust? Just being able to be flexible and move in a new direction.
Dude, what's your craziest NBA story? Like working for the Sacramento. Also, what a team to work for.
Interesting.
I was gonna say.
I got there on the backside of the Maloofs. We're still owned it. They just came off of like.
These?
I was there 2008, 2009. So it was like it was a couple years removed from like Chris Webber, Bibby, Peja, all those guys.
White chocolate playing or no?
Had just finished like a year or two ago. So it was like. This was the start of their run of futility where they haven't made the playoffs in like 16 years, and it's
Oh, that sucks.
So that's
like no one going to take office.
No, yeah. So that's fun. So worked there. Like I would say what's the craziest or most interesting thing?
Just any story. It doesn't have to be the craziest.
No, I'll give you a couple. Like so they had a WNBA team at the time too, the Sacramento Monarchs.
Okay.
And they were playing the LA Sparks, and Candace Parker.
Oh yeah.
Very attractive. So like she was in the tunnel getting ready to warm up, and like I was not supposed to be down there, but like I was like, I'm gonna stand next to Candace Parker, and like I was 22 and thought I like was cool. No.
Yeah.
So like kind of cool, like getting like up close and personal there. The arena there, the new arena is beautiful, but the old one was like so shitty, and they would make the NBA players from the visiting team go work out if they had like if they want to get a weight session and whatever, work out on the third story near our ticket offices. And the equipment was like old 1980s shit. Like it was not good. Like NBA players. So like 7'2" Roy Hibbert is on this like old janky treadmill, and we're like walking by like, what's up, Roy? Like it was kind of embarrassing equipment. And then the other one would be my buddy was sold tickets as well, and he was a huge Celtics fan. He's from Boston.
Oh, okay.
So we're working, and the Celtics are in town, and he's like, fuck man, he's like, I want to watch this game, like I don't want to work. And so we kind of like popped down into some lower seats that were open, and we were just sitting there.
I always thought about that if people do that.
Yeah, and someone had to have known or did something, but like they you know, it's one of the TV commercials or whatever, and they come out and they do like the kiss cam, right? And so then they pawn it around, and it's on him and I, and we were both just like whoa, and so just completely busted, right?
That's
like
so
on multiple levels,
funny,
and it's like,
bro.
oh my gosh. So that was the last time we got away with that. So
did you guys kiss or
nope? It was like, nah, I think we're good.
Yeah, dude, that's so funny, man. That's crazy.
They got us.
What NBA sports team do you rep? The Kings?
No, I mean I should, because like that's where I'm at now. But no, I mean like I was more individual play. So growing up, I was a Sonics fan. Sean Kemp was the Rain Man was my guy, and then I really liked Dirk a lot. And then before he kind of recently fell off the wagon, I was a big Russell Westbrook fan.
Oh man, that's a tough one to support now.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know that like. Man, I don't know that I mean, like I could say the Blazers is like hometown, but it's not as strong. Like other teams like
sport players.
Yeah, on that, like baseball though, Dodgers, football, Dolphins, since Dan Marino was like my guy when I was a kid.
Interesting.
Yeah, random.
Yeah, these are
all over the geography there. So.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, man. I'm kind of like that too. I'm not from, I wasn't born here. I was born in Vietnam. So like when we came here, I got to pick and choose whatever sports teams kind of, and just hop on bandwagons.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I know. And like, I guess in the NBA, you can say I'm a Lakers fan just because I grew up watching Kobe. So that was like, and he was like a big presence in Asia. And like, so everybody knew who Kobe was already. Yep. So RIP. But
yep.
Yeah, so let's talk about this, man. How much coffee and caffeine are you drinking in a day?
2 a day. That's
2 a day.
Just 2. Yep. I limit myself to that. So in the morning.
2 smalls or 2 large?
Yeah, no, it's like 2. I mean, I make a clutch. I either visit clutch or I make clutch beans at home. No, just 2, like I would say 2 12-ounce.
Okay, 2
coffee.
12-ounce.
So Americano with a little bit of creamer, and that's it.
Healthy, man.
I mean, yeah, because it's. I mean, do I like the stuff that has more sugar? Of course, but I gotta like.
So good, bro. But I gotta limit myself too.
Yeah, two a day, and like, or if it's a really long day, or like I needed it like afternoon pick me up, like maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, like a third one. But it's 2 a day is like a pretty good routine. And I need to drink more water, right? I mean, I need to drink like 6 more of these today to hit my quota.
Your go-to clutch order, besides the Americano for at home, is your muscle mocha, right?
Iced muscle mocha.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have a really cool product.
3 espresso shots, right?
Or 2. Okay, unless you get the big one. Big one has 4.
Okay.
I just go small one. So yeah, 2 double shots a day. But iced muscle mocha with sweet top on it, which is this super delicious like top. I should have put it on one of your drinks.
Okay.
Really cool. Like the next time you go, just ask for sweet top on it. And
okay, got it.
Game changer.
I've never heard of that. I should
really
definitely do that. Have you ever been to Italy or France?
Yes, I've been to Italy.
Have you tried the coffee there?
Yeah, well, it's funny. My best coffee story from Italy was we were over there. I think I was like 26 or 27, and at the time, like I was drinking mochas on the daily before my wife told me that gives you moobs, so you can't be drinking those anymore. And so we were at a cafe, and I tried to order a mocha, which is
good as fuck.
Good, right?
It's like strawberry.
That's what the pink drink at Starbucks wants to be when it grows up.
Oh yeah.
So
it's more flavorful than pink drink. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's green tea, a little bit of strawberry flavor, and coconut milk. That's
nice. All right, so hop back.
So
we're in Italy.
So we're in Italy, and I tried to order a mocha, which is a very American thing, actually. And they were like, not on the menu, and they were like, what? And so I looked at the menu, and I'm like, okay, let me get an espresso. Okay, great. And they're like, oh, they also had a hot chocolate. I'm like, let me get a hot chocolate. Got both of those, dumped the espresso shots in there, and made my own mocha. And they looked at me just like, you're just such a piece of shit. Like,
yeah, what? No, dude, it's really weird because like even iced coffee is uncommon there. It's not that
culturally
it's different. Culturally it's different. Most people just order either
much more
espresso or
traditional.
coffee. That's it. And one thing I did notice about Italy coffee though, the worst Italian. Well, okay, let me take that back. It depends on the city you're in.
Yeah.
But in Florence, at least comparative to Venice, but in Florence, the worst coffee is still fire. Like days better than like Starbucks and like this.
So well, 2 things for you. One, what'd you think of Venice?
Venice was fun.
Yeah.
It's a tourist area. Like it's fun to visit. I could never stay there long.
Yeah.
I have a friend who plays for the soccer team from Venezia, so I love going there to visit and watch the soccer, and it's really fun to take someone. If you take someone for the first time, they're like, "Oh shit, there's water and everything." But like I could never just be like if I'm in Italy by myself, I'm like, "Oh, let's go to Venice." Like,
Yeah. You got to get to Capri if you haven't been to Capri yet.
Oh, I haven't.
Gotta go.
So what's your opinion on Venice?
It's cool because of how unique it is.
Yeah, food's overrated, by the way.
Food is overrated, and it was a little dirtier than I anticipated. And I was kind of like, I was like, this is interesting. So we liked Capri more. And
Capri, is that south? I don't know where Capri
you got to
is.
go to.
I only know the soccer team.
Yeah, so you got to go to. Oh my gosh, now I'm gonna blank on whether it's Florence or not. But there's a coastal city you got to go to, and then you take like a. It's like a 20-minute boat ride out to Capri.
Oh, so it's like a little island. Oh, that's so sick.
This is like where like the Roman gods used to go hang out 2,000 years ago. You got to go to the Blue Grotto. You go underwater into this underwater cave. Like, got to go to Capri. Rihanna has a house there. If you want,
Oh my God, have you been to like where else did you go?
We went to Capri, Messina. We ended in Rome, but didn't get to spend any time in there. So I got to get back there.
Dude, same. I like
Croatia.
You went to Croatia? Which where? Dubrovnik.
Dubrovnik is amazing.
Oh, I'm going there this year.
Okay, so you have city walls that are 900 years old, and there's 100%. My wife thinks she's Khaleesi. So like, the city walls are 900 years old, and there is. You guys didn't think you're gonna get this on your coffee podcast, but here you go.
Yeah, right.
There's damage to it from 900 years ago, and then also from 30 years ago during the Bosnian War when they were bombing over the top. So like, it's just a ton of history there.
Oh fuck.
Really cool. And then there's Lockram Island is just off the coast, so you take a boat for a 5-minute ride out to Lockram Island, which used to be owned by the Emperor of Mexico, and he had this. It was his own little private playground of like animals and all this vegetation from across the world. Okay. The only animals that survived were peacocks. So there's peacocks all over the place.
What?
12th century monastery. Like Dubrovnik is awesome. Like you'll have a great time.
What do you think? Like the young party scene. How is it there? Good, bad?
Dubrovnik's not. I wouldn't say Dubrovnik's
necessarily. It's not a party, right?
Yeah, like you got to go to like maybe more of split or.
Okay, I think we'll still enjoy it because I'm not a party guy anymore.
No, you'll have a great time. Like,
okay, interesting.
You take the gondola up to the top of the hill and like have dinner overlooking the whole bay. Like, it's really fun.
That would be sick. They got gondolas there too.
Yeah, I'll send you some. Dubrovnik's awesome. Like,
dude, I'm so excited.
You'll have a great time.
We're going there, and we're gonna explore Rome for the first time because I haven't actually explored that, and I want to go to the Vatican too.
I thought Croatia was actually pound for pound more beautiful than Italy.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
bro.
but okay, wait.
Wait, have you been to Greece though?
No,
bro.
That's on the list.
That was the out of the planet place to me. Like Florence was like here, but then I went to Mykonos, and I was like, fuck, like this is like insane.
Changer.
Yeah, like so. Do you like cats?
Yeah,
dude. So where we have squirrels, they have cats. Like everywhere. Like everywhere, bro. And everything's white. It's so pretty. But yeah, what were you gonna say? You were gonna say
no,
something.
so you were talking about like the coffee game over there. So my wife and I, for our honeymoon, went to Australia and New Zealand. And the coffee game, so you gotta remember, like Australia was a penal colony, right? Like they took all the people from Europe that were bad, like and basically put them down there. And so like they took the culture with them, right? And so the coffee culture there is immensely strong. They take it very seriously. An Americano is called a long black. And then the other, like
I love long black. Yeah, keep going.
A latte is a flat white. So that's where like flat white comes from.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so, but like we got up one morning and we went for a hike at like 6 a.m. in New Zealand, and we stopped at a gas station to get like some rations, whatever. Full on espresso bar in the gas station, like a legit espresso bar. And I'm like, what is going on here? Everywhere you went, like the coffee was taken seriously and was better than almost anything you get in the U.S. I came away from that inspired of like, we have to be the best quality. Yeah. We have to be the best quality. So,
wow, I would have never guessed.
Australia, New Zealand, they're strong. Yep.
Wow, I believe it though. I mean, that whole culture, everything there is fucking like die hard. That's awesome, man. And also, like, if you walk around, you can die from a bite from anything in Australia, right?
Yeah, I'm going back to Australia, and like I think we're gonna go back in 10 years for the Olympics. But like I would highly recommend. Australia was awesome. Like,
let's talk about your travel, man. You are always on planes.
Yep.
How? Why? How do you do it? How do you do it is more important.
I'm a grinder, man. Like, it's what the business needs, and
I can't sleep on them. That's the only problem.
Well, like I was telling you before here, like I was in New York yesterday. I'm here today. Tomorrow or tonight after this, I fly to Orlando for a real estate show there, and then Friday I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and then Friday night I go home. Yeah, for new clutch locations. Yep. So
Orlando would be fun.
Yeah, Orlando's cool, and I'm just there for a hot minute for a day, and then down to Fort Lauderdale. But no, it's more just like I don't know any other way than like giving 110% effort and what it needs to what I think it's capable of doing. Yeah. So it's like whatever that requires. Like 4 years ago, that was 21 days a month in North Carolina. Like looking back at that, I'm like, geez, I actually can't believe I did that.
Like how are you in performance enhancing drugs? Anything like
no PEDs. No, I honestly I don't sleep as much as I should. Like, what do they say? You're supposed to get like 7 or 8 hours. Like,
what do you get?
5 maybe.
That's
like,
still okay.
I mean,
that's okay.
Yeah, 3 last night.
3 is tough. 3, I've had that. I have insomnia. Like actually, like clinically,
okay.
Yeah, mild. So I understand. I go on like streaks where it'll be like 3 or 4 days where I get like 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll get 2 or 3 days where I get like a lot, but then I feel like shit because that's like.
I think I kind of conditioned myself even before clutch on it, because when I was the last position I had in med device, I was covering half the country. Yeah, so like one of the routes that I had, because I was working with plastic surgeons like across the U.S., I would go Phoenix on Monday, started in California, Phoenix on Monday, Houston on Tuesday, Miami Wednesday, home Thursday. So like, and I did that for, I don't know, like a year, and I'd go every 2 weeks I would do that. So like I was kind of used to traveling, and I take red eyes. I try to maximize my time. I take red eyes out.
Red eyes are great. I just can't sleep, but I love them because next thing you know, you're in the next city and it's morning time. You got shit to do.
Yep.
I have a question with your travel stuff. What's your go-to travel card? You have to have one. No?
Oh, for like credit card?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah,
Do you have
Southwest.
One?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then I have, I mean, West Coast based. So like that's, I have an American one too. But I'm pretty loyal to Southwest.
I need it. You gotta get into the Venture One Capital Capital One Venture X or
what's in your wallet?
No, so they just came out with this new card. Okay. I don't even have it yet. I have the Chase Reserve, which was way better than the Amex Platinum to me because it just benefits. Because I travel a lot too. You get lounge access to Priority Pass, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
going to the lounges are sick. And you get like all these perks. So a lot of my flights are free because I utilize it really well for my business actually. And But Venture X just came out with this new card, and I need to get it. Like, I have to get it. It's $400 a year annual fee, right? But every year they give you $300 to spend on travel right away. So that's only $100, right? Okay. So now we're at $100, and every year you get 10,000 miles for your anniversary year. Okay. So if you do per value dollar, you're only paying $5. Then after that, every time you use it on travel to book flights, you get 10x points. Okay. 5x for food and blah 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 blah. Right. Now all that aside, you get Priority Pass, which I already have, but you would get the Priority Pass. Have you ever used Priority Pass?
I have not. Is that a specific airline? Because I have no. Okay.
So let me tell you about this. All right. So Priority Pass it's a separate card, and usually you can pay to have a membership every year, but with these credit cards, the top tier ones, they give you it. And so when you have a Priority Pass, you and whoever you're traveling with, you can take up to 2 people, or you can pay for the third or so forth. Yep. You can go in any of the Priority Pass lounges, and there's 1,300. North Carolina has a few. Like there's Charlotte has one. But the other places, big cities, especially like Miami, super nice. Fort Lauderdale. Dude, Miami's was insane, dude. And it's always unlimited alcohol. Okay. Whenever you go into there's like lounges. The lounges. You gotta get me set up on this. I'll send it to you. Yeah. I'll send you an article. You just read it. Please. If you like it, sign up. It depends on your credit score, though. They do require a pretty high credit score. But I shit you not. And the Venture X one, what I'm fucking wish I, not regret, but like I wish I knew about it before I signed up for their one. But I signed up for their one before, anyways. But the Venture X one allows you, and this is the big seller, allows you to add 4 people for free onto the Priority Pass. So they get their own Priority Passes for free, bro.
That's kind of nice.
I have to pay $75 on Chase to add to people. And now like, it's
free for those together.
Even if your wife, for instance, travels on her own and she's added on her card, she will have access to the lounges.
She's got it. Okay. Bro, that's smart.
I'll have to
see the thing. The thing I got to retool is like getting there early enough to actually utilize it.
So yes. So I used to be like a late traveler, like like we'll be fine and stuff. But then ever since I went to Europe and I experienced the lounges there, I was like, now I want to go like early just because this is a fun experience, and you can do work there. You get it's unlimited food, and you know how expensive food is there. Bro.
Oh yeah,
and so drinks, you got unlimited food, drinks, everything, and service is amazing too.
So just go there and like plan to work half your day there, and then take your flight.
That's what I do now. I go early and I just edit videos and shit. But the sad thing is Raleigh doesn't have one, and Charlotte's is like so mid compared to the rest. But that sounds about especially right. In California though, they have good lounges and stuff. But all right, beyond travel.
Yep.
Real estate Orlando show. What's your goal here? We're trying to find a good location.
Finding multiple new locations for Clutch across the 4 states that we're looking at.
How much time? If we were to throw a percentage, right, and up to 100, obviously, how much energy is spent on family? How much energy is spent on Clutch? And then how much energy is spent on like planning for the future of Clutch? Because that's a whole nother thing too.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. And it's interesting because everything is like structured, right? Like there's a certain window of time. Like at home, I work from 5:30 in the morning until 7:30, and then I have an hour block that I got to get my daughter up and ready
so you
for
block
school.
Your schedule?
Everything's blocked out. Yeah. So like I have an hour that it's like that's the time I have to. I get her up. We read in the morning. Eat and then get her to daycare. And so then I get back, and then I work from 9 to like 3:30, try to get a 30-minute workout in, maybe an hour if I'm lucky. And then it's another block of like family time, get them down for bed. Then I go back to work from like 7:30 to 9:30 for another 2 hours. So I would say like percentage wise, like I would say the family gets like 30%. And then the focus of Clutch is probably like the meat of like blocking and tackling everything in the day, probably 50, and then 20% towards what we've got coming up. Yeah.
Interesting, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a lifestyle. It reminds me of like, you ever watch those videos on YouTube that like celebrities or famous people will break down their schedules? And it's like Terry Crews or like The Rock will be like, all right, so I block my schedule here to work out. That's
you have to, but like you, and it's like my wife kind of trained me on that. She's like, because I'm like, I don't have time to work out, and she's like, no, you're doing it wrong. Like you need to schedule that and then work around, and maybe you don't have time to do something else, but like if it's important, you got to prioritize it and flip it. So
I need to do that.
It's blocking it out and also just making sure that you commit to it.
How are you able to do that if sporadic shit happens? Because like my life is so like
I mean that's stuff. I mean I'll have something that's like blocked out where it's like okay, like even here I was like, hey, I need to push a meeting here because I've got something else going on or we're running long on something. Okay. So it's you have to be dynamic and flexible. But the one thing that is probably the least flexible that I try to commit to is like if I am going to go work out, like I'm putting my phone away. I'm not one of the people that's at the gym like I could go to Orange Theory and someone's on the treadmill
at the gym, and it's like it fucks you up sometimes because you're like
you just gotta be able to separate it. Yeah. And I find like if I take a step back, like it actually like when I'm working out, most of the time I'm thinking about is different things that have to do with the business and how I'm going to move something forward. And you get like a little bit of clarity without getting like, I'm sure your phone too, like you get just inundated with stuff all the time. And it's like, it's hard to kind of separate that. So it gives you a chance to breathe and look at stuff and then, you know, come back to it fresh. So
I mean, the one thing I've learned from this podcast beyond like, well, I learned a lot, but the one thing is I want to try that blocking. Because I've always like wanted to, I just never done it, and then it's like I have so much shit going on left and right where it's like
I did the exercise with I give my credit to my wife on it and did the exercise, and if nothing else, it gives you a framework to reference back. You may not execute it perfectly, but it gives you a framework of like, okay, how much of your day is spent to this, and then it actually forces you to prioritize like all the things you like. Right now, I have a tendency. I will do sometimes too many things in the weeds where it's like that's not the best use of my time. I need to actually delegate this to somebody and like trust them to get it done versus me doing all the blocking and tackling. And then it forces you to kind of level up and hopefully grow.
That's crazy, man. Learning a lot here. So Oregon, last thing I'm gonna probably talk to you about.
Yeah.
How's your college experience? You ride or die for them, so I'm assuming
I still have season tickets, so I go back to every home football game.
That was a good football team to support.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah. No, man, I go back for every game. Oregon experience was great. I played basketball in junior college, and then I transferred to Oregon.
What? Did you play in Oregon?
No.
I was gonna say, boy, because that's a big team.
That's another level. Yeah. No.
Oh, that's a good team.
Thought I could. Not the case. It was a great experience. Eugene is such a cool college town, and like, I mean, I look back, I'm like, man, it would have been cool to go there for all 4 years. But I kind of get a little bit of that nostalgia every fall when I go back, and like tailgating is like my one escape from reality.
Is a goal of yours to open a clutch there ever?
In Eugene, I don't know if I don't know. I think my bigger goal is to do something that contributes to the football program where like, they're building new facilities, and Uncle Phil Knight helps us to sponsor a lot of that, but how can you also how can I contribute to that? And then I actually just recently got asked they have a student athlete mentor program, and they like kids, like whatever your focus is. So kids that are focused on business in school, great. Like how do we partner you up with mentors who have experience or have had some degree of success out in the real world? So they actually hit me up and asked if I'd be interested in doing that, which I think is a super cool thing to give back.
That would be cool.
So I'll hopefully be mentoring a couple student athletes there.
It'd be cool if like one day, like we're talking like 4 or 5 years down the road, you got like hundreds of clutch locations, right? You got so much money, and you can be the name sponsor for a main sponsor for a sports team.
Yep.
Where it's like Charlotte Hornets or something, and then you guys have the clutch logo right there, something like that.
Yeah, you got the logo there, or it's like
the clutch
arena. Yeah,
oh, that'd
exactly.
be crazy.
Exactly.
Charlotte FC just started, so that
dude, and they set the attendance record too. Were you there?
Yeah, so I had a guy on the podcast who is a friend of mine, and he lives in Orlando. He's a soccer YouTuber, specifically to U.S. soccer. He gets invited to come to the first game. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to come with me? I can get you a media pass." And I'm just thinking like, "Oh, it's just like a normal pass." Yeah. So I'm down. Next thing you know,
the real deal.
We're on the field. We met the coach. We met like players. We were at the media awesome. Where like you could ask them questions and shit. I was just like, "What the fuck? How did I get here?" Like it was crazy, man.
Because you network well.
That is all it is. And I could have been good at a lot of things. Anyone's good at something. I feel like I'm not good at a lot, but that's the one thing I'm good at is just talking to people. So I've utilized that to really have a fun life. Like I've really gotten lucky.
And you're just getting started. You're just getting warmed up.
No, dude, you too, man. I every time I talk to you, every time I see you, it inspires me so much to like after this, now I feel like I'm on like 800 milligrams of coffee. I'm like, yo, I'm about to hit the gym so fucking hard right now, man. And like,
what'd you have today? That caramel shake?
Yeah, it's gonna be a big pump. I'm gonna have like 5 businesses by the next time I see you at this point. Man, that's awesome, man. How does your wife and how do you think your wife and kids balance out the lifestyle of the dad being like a busy, not busy, but like a businessman?
That's a great question. I mean, my wife is the toughest person I know. Like she went to Cal. She played lacrosse at Cal Berkeley.
Oh, hell yeah.
She is a beast, and like just like, you know, it's like, okay, you're gonna be gone for a week. Like, all right, what do we need to do? How do we gonna execute this? How do we prepare for this? So she's always like, she has believed. I mean, when we met, we met doing med device, and we were both
so in the
reps.
industry. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and then I had told her at some point, like pretty soon into dating, that like I had a passion and wanted to like start my own coffee brand. And she's like, you want to be a barista for the rest of your life? I'm like, no, think bigger. And so she's been, you know, like, her not knowing anything about the industry or anything, and then seeing where it's come now, and then like been fully committed. And she's like, you know, we talk about different scenarios, and she is just like very committed to like what Clutch is, and we wouldn't be possible without her. So she's great. She plans and maps out. My daughter's 2.5, my son is 9 months. So they're at a younger age to where, like, hopefully my goal is to be able to have, as we grow and get bigger, to be able to spend more time where I can be more at home at the ages when they're like, when they start having memories, right? When they're 5, 6, whatever.
Dude, that's crazy that amongst all this change, 2 kids. Yeah. That's like, what the fuck?
And then COVID hit, and my wife and I were like,
you look so young. How do you have 2 kids and have
bro, I got gray hair. Come on now. I
do too? That doesn't mean anything, bro.
No, like we were like, oh, because there's never a perfect time. Like, when are you gonna have kids? Like, there's no perfect time.
Yeah.
It's like, and so, you know, I'm 35 now. I think about it.
30.
And so, like, having 2 kids, and like, when we're good, I want to play man to man, no zone defense. So like 2 kids is good. But like, we, you know, it was like, hey, like, we want to have a family, and you adapt, and it's like, okay, how are we gonna craft this?
That's so funny. You know, the man to man zone.
Yeah, no,
I love that.
My wife is one of 3, and she thought she wanted to have 3. And the second day my daughter was born, the second day she was alive, she looks at me, she's like, two's good.
Well, you got boy, girl?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the dream right there.
My daughter, Carter Grace, aka Cardi G, and then my son Colton. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Colton's a good name, man. That's awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming today. And seriously, guys, if you guys are in an area with Clutch, I highly, highly recommend you guys check them out. It's so fucking good. Whether it's the muscle mocha, whether it's the caramello, or anything you guys order, it's really good. Thank you for coming today, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week.
Dude, the music's great on that channel. The intro song was awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.